K-pop, you either love it or hate it. Apparently. No other options. And the current trendy thing seems to be to hate it. Pop. In a certain language. Seems stupid, that's because it is. But if you've spent more than 2 minutes on the internet, you'd know that it's not about the actual music, not about the actual artists. It's the fandom. And even though I look like it, believe me, I know, I'm not here to defend them at all. We're gonna look at why K-pop is probably one of the most hated communities out there nowadays, and how we got here. You may be thinking, why would I be qualified to talk about this? Let me put it this way, I have a bit more insight into this than you may be thinking, because I'm an OG fan. I'm talking 2011. How do I know that it's 2011 exactly? Well, Bobs was the first YouTuber that I've been watching religiously since about 2009. I'm old. And she had me hooked on K-pop, or some songs at least, before this video because she used to use them as background music. But this video was what eventually completely dragged me down into the fandom hell. Until 2017, when I decided that I no longer wanted to be associated with K-pop at all. That's when I decided to drop all the merch, all the buttons, all the shirts, because the fandom had gotten to a point where it's never been, and it's just gotten even worse from there on out. So now let's dive headfirst into how we got here.
Nothing personal, kid.
I know that not all K-pop fans are like this. A lot of my friends are still in this community and still up to date. However, 99.9% of the K-pop fans that aren't like this, I would consider to be casual fans. Meaning they just happen to enjoy the music or some bands and they want to stay up to date and they're just interested in it. But it's not the single one interest. Who we're gonna be talking about are K-pop stans. In case you don't know what a stan is, you've been living under a rock. It's essentially a very, very dedicated and committed, obsessive fan. Offense is always taken, not given, and my goal isn't to offend anyone, my goal isn't to bash anyone, so if you want to be offended, that's on you.
When I'm through with you, we're gonna be completely fucking done.
It may be hard to believe, but the K-pop community hasn't always been as inherently cancerous as it is right now. It has been my home for a long time, and I've made a lot of friends that I'm even still in contact with to this day. The vast majority of memories that I have are overwhelmingly positive, and of course we also had fan wars or whatever, but it was very, very looked down upon to be part of a fan war or to be a very obsessed fan. It wasn't as normalized as it is nowadays. We used to just be a tight-knit community of fans that enjoyed the same thing and enjoyed talking about it. When did it go downhill then? I can nearly exactly tell you when. As much as it pains me to say, believe me, it hurts my heart to say this. October 9th, 2016, Blood, Sweat and Tears by BTS was released. And for whatever reason, this one blew up, sort of, and made a popular band at the time even more popular. And more and more and more. BTS are the ones that really blew up and made K-pop more popular and more mainstream. And I love these boys with all my heart, I really do. I was there for the pre-debut mixtapes. I was there when the lineup kept changing. I was there when the final lineup was finally announced and nobody knew how V actually looked. I was there on the iBigot YouTube page, constantly refreshing the page on the night that their debut music video was about to come out. So the fandom being this terrible is a personal offense to me. On one hand, of course, I'm happy that they're successful because they deserve it, they work very hard. On the other hand though, I'm very sad that by association they've gotten a bad rap, a bad name, just because of the way their fandom behaves. Even in K-pop, ARMYs, which is their fandom, are considered to be troublemakers, and a lot of people generally don't like them, which of course is kind of stupid to just go, oh, you like that band, I don't like you, but they've made this kind of name for themselves. So we're off to a bad start.
He's looking hungry for some drama. Here, let me serve you.
If you've never been into K-pop yourself, chances are you know someone who is. Or you've had the wonderful experience of witnessing some fans out in the wild. And their behavior is a big reason why I don't want to be associated with them anymore. Of course, not all K-pop fans are like this, but a lot are. A lot. For example, one of the most scarring encounters I had with K-pop fans was when I was in Primark. Don't judge me. And two about 13, 14-year-olds came in just literally shouting about, oh my god, this looks so EXO! Oh my god, we could do a BTS look with that! And I swear to god, the security guard was following them, ready to kick them out at any point. Another thing that I never thought was actually possible is people using Korean terms in casual conversation. They're not Korean. They don't speak Korean. They just use these singular words. I shit you not. I once was around someone who just casually dropped 그럼, which means about well then, or well, it's basically just a gap filler. I actually lost it when out in public a white girl called another white girl 언니, which means big sister. And of course you get those people calling guys that they like oppa, which is stupid, which is very cringy. And the last example for now is on my commute home, which I have to commute an hour to college. I tend to see these kids, well, they tend to wear stuff that I think is supposed to emulate a school uniform or K-fashion. And I wouldn't usually critique anybody's fashion choices, but this actually looks like it's a costume, you know, like a cheap Halloween costume. And I tend to see them around one particular station, just hanging out, blasting K-pop, which is how I knew that they were into K-pop for sure, dancing and screaming. I once had the pleasure of them also entering my train. I would like to forget that encounter. Sure, you want everybody to know that you like a certain thing and you want to talk about that certain thing. The reality of it is just that nobody cares. Nobody does. And I'm not talking about just wearing support bands, which these would be support bands, like I just dropped one. Other bands, for example, Five Finger Death Punch, also have these. I might actually wear one for the rest of the video. I'm not talking about wearing merch. I wear merch right now. I'm wearing merch all the time. My closet essentially consists of band shirts and Marvel shirts. That's fine. What I'm talking about is being a public nuisance, essentially. The issue is that they think the world is one big high school and that their little club is the best one, the most important one, and everybody has to know that they're part of their little club. That's just not how the world works. When I'm not in high school anymore, I'm happy that I'm out of high school. Why are you trying to make the entirety of the world a high school? Please don't. People tend to not take it so well when things that they don't want to hear about are shoved in their faces. But take for example if a salesman just randomly talks to you on the street and tries to sell you something, your response probably isn't gonna be as good. It's probably gonna be pretty annoyed and you don't want to hear about it because you haven't asked to hear about it. And it may even lead you to develop a negative predisposition to the thing that the salesperson was trying to sell. Same principle. They're also masters about making any conversation about K-pop, no matter if it had to do anything with K-pop. Usually the conversation wasn't about that. Go to any article or video about Korea, look at the comment section, I can guarantee that it has been hijacked. No matter the topic at all. They're just gonna, where are my K-pop fans at? So they're they're not making a good name for themselves outside of their own community. They're not doing a good job promoting their interest as something positive, as something people would want to join or learn more about. Really, they're just driving outsiders away. And you'd think being into a niche interest and being sort of hated on, that they would be a tight-knit community, as I said that they used to be. Well, you'd be wrong. That's not how it is anymore. The golden age of K-pop is dead.
Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna.
Bringing back a point I made earlier, they have this rampant high school mentality, and their club is the best one, and everybody has to know that their club is the best one and that they are part of this club. However, if everybody was allowed in, then that would defeat the point of being part of the cool kids. Have you noticed that a good 95% of the time you can tell who a K-pop stan, an extreme fan, is just by looking at them? They've developed sort of a dress code, which is bizarre. At first I thought this wasn't a point worth mentioning, but then a friend brought to my attention how prevalent this behavior actually is. Something that happens a lot is, you listen to K-pop, but you don't look like it. Yeah, you have to look a certain way to like a certain kind of music. Okay, the gatekeeping in general in this community is unbelievable. You're not a real fan unless this kind of mentality is, wow. That's big. So a lot of people feel like they constantly need to prove how big of a fan they are. Thinking about it, it's not just some people, it's a lot of them. Assuming you've made it past all of the gatekeeping and decided to stay in this community for a little longer, for whatever reason. Fan wars! Yay! As I said, people like to prove how big of a fan they are, and they like to constantly one-up each other and spend even more time on being a fan. So if you've got even somewhat of a name in this community, you're gonna be talked about. You can't win, really. Everything you do is gonna be wrong. Guaranteed. People are tearing each other down left and right. And if you're saying that, oh, but I'm not like this, my friends are not like this, yeah, I believe you, I really do. But you're lying if you're saying that you've never seen it happen, or that you don't know of anybody who's ever done this or been a victim of this. It happens a lot, so what's even better than just individuals tearing each other down is fandoms of different bands attacking one another. For no reason. That's what ARMYs, so BTS fans, are sort of known for, infamous for. And you know who suffers the most? The bands you're representing and giving a bad rep to. And they've made such a bad name for it that even just hearing BTS leaves a bad taste in my mouth, which is stupid because I like them, but I can't listen to any of their songs anymore without just going, ugh. Another reason to start wars, apparently, is how overprotective some people are over their bias, their favorite band member or members. Of course, them being cute boys and cute girls is a main selling point, and that's completely on the companies. But you're buying into this. The actual mentality a lot of the fans have is that their favorite idol should not be dating anyone except if it's them. If all the fans think that way, I'm sure you'll be seeing the paradox that this is creating, right? If you'd be hating on a girlfriend or a potential girlfriend that your favorite idol may have, chances are a lot of people would be hating on that girlfriend. And it would be no different if you were that girlfriend. And you're never gonna be that girlfriend. Ever. Facts. A close friend brought up the point that a member of the band Day 6 has actually been bullied out of the band by fans for dating someone. Yep. I also remember back when Baekhyun from EXO used to date Taeyeon from SNSD, a lot of people were outraged about two humans having a relationship being happy. A lot of people spoke out about that they shouldn't be shamed for that, but they were in the end pressured to breaking up. When it came to light that the solo artist Hyuna and Edwin from the band Pentagon had been in a long-term relationship, and I'm talking 2 years of a relationship, they were fired. Welcome to the ruthless world of K-pop companies, by the way. And I'm very, very happy that they haven't given in to the pressure and that they're still going strong. That's how it should be. That's what a lot of fans are not allowing their idols to do. It's really bizarre how many of the obsessed fans think that they're entitled to a member, to a human being. It's almost like they've completely reduced them to just being a character. They're not longer a real person anymore, they're just a character, there for your enjoyment. That's not how it works. Another point brought to my attention by a friend who is sort of active in this community is the bizarre shipping that's happening. So there's a third option, not just my favorite member has to date nobody or me. The third option is my favorite band member could also date my other favorite band member. Shipping like actual fictional characters. I'm gonna go delete the universe. Thanos, where are you? Do I even have to point out why this is batshit insane? It doesn't just make the members uncomfortable, it also makes a lot of other fans uncomfortable, as they have expressed. I remember just before deciding to actually not associate with the fandom anymore, browsing the BTS tag on Tumblr, and I wish I had thought of making this video before the big NSFW ban, because what I came across was a gif of 2 dudes doing the do. YouTube, please don't age restrict this. And in the description it was tagged which BTS member would be the top and which one would be the bottom. I exactly remember just reading top Jungkook, bottom Jimin. I thought this has to be a parody, this has to be a singular occurrence. It can't be an actual thing that's happening. I found more and I would really like to forget everything that I've seen. I mean, fanfiction is one thing, just shipping is another thing, and then this. And you know it is children doing this. What was that about the world being supposed to end in 2012? That was a good plan. Who fucked that up? There's so much wrong in general, but these were the main points that were brought up when I asked on Instagram what people thought was the main thing wrong with K-pop. So this is what I addressed, simply for time's sake, so that this video wouldn't be hours long. So, time for the conclusion.
I review you, 0 vibe is gone.
Kids are taking their interest too seriously, are meanwhile treating real people like fictional characters or property, and are treating their hobby like others would politics. Just 10 times worse. I hope this was somehow comprehensible and not too boring. I hope I addressed the main points. As I said, I asked people what they thought, and these were the main points really. I also did a bit of research and these were the points that were brought up the most. And if you are a K-pop fan, there's nothing wrong with that. I also still support the bands that I really like. I just don't want to be associated as this being my entire personality. And that's what a lot of these kids are doing. They're just confusing an interest with a personality trait. There will be a second video out about this exact topic, which will maybe go a bit more in depth and may even be a bit more enjoyable than this. But yeah, maybe look out for that. And if this video reaches anybody at all, which usually my shit doesn't, you could subscribe or whatever, no pressure. See ya!